Welcome back to the biggest agricultural platform known as Nduna Wengombe, which means headman of cattle. My name, of course, Mitchell Mutumba Simata, aka the headman of cattle. Today, on the 8th of June, I felt I should do a video on game farming. It's been a sector that has interested me. I've been trying to get a game farmer to come and join us on the platform to come and speak about it, but I've been thus unlucky thus far. So if anyone out there of my subscribers is a game farmer, please hit me up so I can get you on a telephonic interview and we talk about game farming industry so you can educate us. But today, because I couldn't get in one, I had to do research and I got my information contrast of the biggest agricultural magazine in SADC, which is Farmers Weekly. They did an insert on game farming a while back. So I'll share that information with you guys. As you guys know, I'm never writing solo. I got my trusted notebook with me. So let's get into the information. Invest wisely to weather the wildlife industry storm. The local wildlife ranching industry has had its shares of ups and downs over the past few years. And drought, a boom-burst cycle, and COVID-19 have seen many farmers exit the sector. Linda Botha spoke to Limpopo rancher Yaku Sullivan about the resilience and the sound business decision that have kept his family in the game. The game industry made headlines in the mid-2010s, 2010, as prices for animals skyrocketed off the back of color variation like the black impala, the golden wildebeest, buffalo prices followed suit. Paying over 100 million rand for an animal was not uncommon in 2016. However, as predicted, the bubble inevitably burst, leaving countries' long-term game farmers in the pinch. This situation was exuberated by the ensuing drought followed by COVID-19, which led to the shutting down of hunting activities for most of 2020. Suffice to say, game farmers have been stretched to the limit. Nonetheless, for the Sullivan family, owners of Bongela Private Game Lodge in Valwater, Limpopo, wildlife ranching still holds promise. The lodge derives 70% of its income from hunting activities and also from bush getaways for families. What started as a weekend destination for the Sullivans in 2012 soon morphed into a business that the family realized the value in sharing the property. Timing, however, was not on their side, and they had to weather the sector storm over the years. Breeding values. The Sullivan notes that the farm's breeding program has also assisted the business, as buying in animals for hunting purpose did not make financial sense alone. We also aim to improve the genetics so we can offer better animals for hunters and for auctions. The breeding program includes sables, Ronin antelope, Livingston eland, Nyala, bushbuck, and buffaloes. The Sullivans select to remove the weaker genetics, and these animals are either sold on auction or used for hunting. Those with superior genetics are used for breeding further. Characteristics. What they select for include horns, growth, length, structural correctness, intercalving period, muscling males and feminine females. The Sullivans explain that these animals were chosen for their popularity among hunters and the economic value they hold. But we have seen in the past few years that even kudus and waterbucks have become popular. Kudu prices in particular are increasing because the supply does not meet the demand. It takes a long time for a kudu bull to reach maturity, and for a long time farmers didn't breed kudus because they weren't perceived as valuable. We are therefore keeping all our female animals at this stage and only allow the bulls to be hunted. so we can build up the breeding herd. Sullivan believes that there is value in breeding these animals as there is still a demand for them. We don't really focus on breeding color. We don't focus on breeding color variations, but if they are there, they are in demand, but not if they are there, but not at exorbitant prices they once fetched. Commenting on the shift to online auctions with the online auctions with the arrival of COVID-19, Sullivan says that although auctions initially took a knock, buyers and sellers quickly realized the convenience and economies of doing online auctioning. Growing demand. The dynamics in the hunting industry have also changed over the past few years, but the Sullivans are certain of one thing: demand is growing. Shift has come a change in the way the hunting experience is offered, and Sullivan notes the importance of facilities that cater to a wider audience. This includes comfortable chalets, swimming pools with views, and even spa treatment to pull the local and international guests. They use social media to market their lodge. Challenges in the industry. With price stabilizing and the drought having largely broken, the future of the hunting industry in South Africa could seem unfavorable, were it not for more looming challenges. The argument against hunting, mostly from a European audience, and the lack of consideration given for the role it plays in the conservation, are hurdles that have been plaguing the sector for some time. The world is up in arms about lion hunting. I think we'll be making a mistake if we stop hunting lions, because those that are offering hunters an opportunity to hunt lions are breeding them, and could stop if this pressure continues. And the natural lion population will eventually be eradicated as habitat is being destroyed. So for the sake of encouraging conservation, we need hunting. He says that he is nervous that the new laws that are about to come and the misunderstanding of the industry will mean that hunting will be stopped extensively in the country. So that's what a game farmer had to say. So they face drought. The crazy prices that were paid for animals have a bit subsided, but they face droughts, and also they face conservationists, particularly those ones in Europe that particularly those keyboard warriors that make noise on social media. I know I was also dragged into some of it when I came out and defended President Cyril Ramaphosa and said, how do you call an owner of a game farm a poacher? And then one person came forward and said, then what is a poacher? Is he not a poacher? And I said, no, he can't be a poacher. He's the owner of the farm. And then they said, so because he owns the farm means he can hunt animals. And then I told them, no, it doesn't mean that. It means because he owns the farm, he probably applied for hunting rights of his farm so he could be able to hunt his animals. And then they're like, oh, so it just gives him a right to shoot animals. So if I have a hunting right, what? They're giving very stupid arguments. But I put it to them to say, look, an owner of a farm is given hunting rights. He has the right to hunt wildlife on his farm, but it has to be done controlled. It has to be done very controlled. It shouldn't be done recklessly where you see a kudu, you shoot it. You see a springbok, you shoot it. No, it needs to be done very carefully, and actually needs to be paid attention to. That's what I was busy telling colleagues on Twitter after that issue. The Pala Pala story broke out of Cyril Ramaphosa, and everybody was jumping on me. Some were just saying, no, I'm unnecessary. I just want to seem as a good black guy. But I told them, look, I'm in the agricultural business. I've farmed, and I used to hunt on my farm. And what I know, when I used to hunt, I used to first have to get permission from the Ministry of Environment and Tourism, and I had to get hunting rights. And after I get hunting rights, I was allowed to hunt, but it didn't mean that I shoot everything on the farm. I need to conserve. If I kill one kudu bull, I leave the rest of the herd. Not that I find a herd of kudus and I shoot everything, including the females. That was not what I was doing. So people need to educate themselves a bit better. And I know people are complaining, saying, but shooting a rhino and an elephant is illegal. Well, it is illegal, but there are rights. I mean, there are certain perimeters where you're allowed to hunt a lion, an elephant, a buffalo, and so forth, particularly elephants. If an elephant is old, if an elephant is injured, if an elephant has reached its lifespan and it's becoming dangerous to people, then a quota goes out and a permit is given to someone brave enough to hunt the elephant. And I think people are sometimes just outraged at certain things because we don't understand, or sometimes just a case of some people probably don't just like the president of South Africa, so they had to drag him and also drag the hunting industry. I know the president of Botswana was trying his hardest when he traveled. I don't know what year it was, and he was talking there, trying to encourage hunters, American hunters, wealthy American billionaire hunters, to come to Botswana and come hunt some elephants. And then a lady from the animal rights groups came in, was making noise, and they tried to escort her out. And then he was like, no, don't escort her out. Let me explain our stance. The problem is in Botswana, we're having too many elephants, and we need to control them. The problem, if the elephant population keeps on growing, it will come into competition with other wildlife and also with the agricultural sector, such as the livestock sector, which would mean that human and wildlife conflict will happen. He even gives situations where some elephants are so brave that they come closer to the settlements and have killed people. So what do you do when you have situations like that? Do you tell the people either to move, or what do you do? Because the elephants are coming closer to human settlements. So we have to find a method, we have to find a way to control these animal herds. If not, we're going to see a rise in human and wildlife conflict. Same thing here in Namibia, in my country. We're having cases of human and wildlife conflict because the elephant population is growing. There were farmer consultations had where farmers were complaining that some elephants escape from the northern part of the country, come to the southern part of the country in the Grootfontein area, enter their farms, eat up their produces, their pumpkins, their watermelons, and their corn that they are planting. And you can't do anything. And on the end of the day, sometimes the government doesn't compensate you for their damage. They do pay you, but it's not enough compared to the losses you make. You probably make losses worth millions, and they just give you maybe a 70,000. So we need to find a way in order to live in unison with the wild, but we also need to conserve these animals. It's not to prevent them to breed extensively and continue increasing. Because I know elephant populations have increased in some countries where poaching happens, like I believe the DRC Congo, the wars that have been happening there, and also in parts of Angola. But Angola has become peaceful now, but some of the poaching problems. So animals, just like human beings, would migrate from a high dangerous zone to come to a safer part. And if they come to Namibia and they find it safe, they'll live here and they will actually get eaten this side.